Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're gonna talk about how U.S. planned to invade Canada. In the early 20th century, the world was a vastly different place than it's today. The United States and the United Kingdom, now staunch allies, were not always on such friendly terms. In fact, during the 1920s and 1930s, the US government developed a series of contingency plans for potential war with the British Empire. One of these plans was known as War Plan Red, detailed a strategy for hypothetical conflict between the two nations. In this podcast, we will delve into the background details and implications of this fascinating piece of history. The origins of War Plan Red can be traced back to the early 1920s, when the United States began to view the United Kingdom as a potential rival. The British Empire was the world's dominant power at the time, with the colonies and territories spanning the globe. The US, having emerged as a major player on the world stage following World War I, was keen to protect its interests and assert its influence. As a result, the US military began to develop a series of color-coded war plans to prepare for potential conflicts with various countries, including the UK. So, War Plan Red was officially approved by the US Secretary of War and the Secretary of Navy in 1930s. So they really was about to do that. They planned everything. It outlined a hypothetical scenario in which the United States would face off against the British Empire, designed it as a red in the plan. The plan assumed that the UK would be the aggressor, launching an invasion of the US through Canada, which was a British dominion at the time. Yeah, we can see that even at that time, the US was using the same strategy. The same with Iraq, where they was blaming that Iraq has a biological weapon and wanna, use it against US. That kind of, provocation, nothing changed. The US would then be forced to defend its territory and retaliate against the British forces. The plan detailed a multi-pronged strategy for the US to follow in the event of war. First, the US would launch a naval blockade of British Isles, cutting off vital supplies and resources. Next, US forces would invade Canada, targeting key cities and infrastructure to disrupt the British supply lines and weaken their ability to wage war. The plan also called for the US to seize British colonies in the Caribbean, such as Bermuda and Jamaica, to further weaken the British Empire's global reach. While War Plan Red was never implemented, it was updated and refined throughout the 1930s to account for changes in technology and geopolitics. For example, the plan was revised to include the use of aircraft carriers and long-range bombers, which were relatively new developments at the time. Additionally, the plan took into account the possibility of other countries such as Japan or Germany joining the conflict on the side of the British Empire. It is important to note that War Plan Red was just one of many contingency plans developed by the US military during this time period. Other plans included War Plan Orange, which focused on a potential conflict with Japan, and War Plan Green, which dealt with a possible war with Mexico. We can see that they was coloring each war with a special color, and somehow Japan, they call it War Plan Orange, but at the flag it is a white and a red. I don't know what is the logic, but maybe it's just a random. I can understand Mexico and why red color for Canada. Their flag also red, but maybe it's just random color and nothing special. So these plans were not meant to be taken as definite courses of action, but rather as tools for military strategies to consider various scenarios and prepare for potential threats. The existence of War Plan Red was kept sacred for many years, only becoming public knowledge in the 1970s. The revelation of the plan caused some controversy, as it seemed to contradict the long-standing narrative of the US and the UK as close allies. However, most historians now view the plan as a reflection of the uncertainty and shifting alliances of the interwar period, rather than a sign of genuine animosity between the two nations. In fact, the development of War Plan Red may have ultimately served to strengthen the relationship between the United States and the United Kingdom. By the late 1930s, the rise of fascist powers in Europe, such as Nazi Germany and fascist Italy, led the US and UK to recognize the need for strong alliance against these threats. Yeah, as we know, all the wise quote, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Yeah, these two nations began to cooperate more closely in the years leading up to World War II, and their partnership would prove crucial in the defeat of the Axis powers. Today, the United States and the United Kingdom enjoy a special relationship characterized by close cooperation on matters of defense, intelligence, diplomacy, and trade. The history of War Plan Red served as a reminder of the importance of maintaining open lines of communication and trust between nations. In a world where tensions can rise and alliances can shift, maintaining strong relationships with our neighbors is more important than ever. But we can see that if something wrong will happen with Canada or UK, we know that the US have a War Plan Red. Thank you for joining me today as we explore the fascinating history of War Plan Red. If you enjoyed this podcast, don't forget to subscribe and share it with your friends. Stay tuned for more intriguing stories from history in our upcoming episodes. But maybe it's not going to be about history, it's just a, random topic. Okay, see you next time. Thank you for listening.